We've been asked the question of how can I import a list of contacts and use them in documents and things. So what I've done is I've set up a scenario where I have contacts, I'll link to the video on how to create the CSV and import them. But I've got, say you want to go through import a whole bunch of contacts. One caveat here, you do have to be on the Plus plan that has queries in order to do this. But you'll see here I've got the contact info where I could create a new record, but I can also import from a CSV. So this is where I would actually import all the information that I have from a CSV. And again, I'll have a link below on how to do that. Review and update. It becomes a very simple, it's just entering the bare minimum that you want to have as part of it. Okay, so how do you go about setting this up? I usually will use the party object for this because it's a single contact that I'm going to be able to use in multiple places. So I would go to catalog, then I'll click new catalog. I like the name contacts, which is what I have here, and then I would select party. Just because that's the name, and it also helps because like clients, spouse, children are always still parties. So that's the first step. So you go through and do that. Step 2 is you'll come here, click add a new element, and this is where you need the plus plan. You put query. I would put contact query. I've already created it, so I'll show you what that looks like. I'll go ahead and click cancel. I'm going to just scroll down here. Queries are always at the bottom. And then you'll select, this will be blank and contacts will be blank. So it'll basically look like this when you come in. So you'll say the provider is Nackley and the source is contacts. And you'll save it. So that's kind of step 1. Then once you've done, then the next step, you'll now see party has an app, so I'll create an app, and usually I'll just put full name and inline address in the app. You can do a document here, but you can also just put in fields that want to be asked. It's not going to produce any document. Actually, probably would even say app generates documents. I'd probably uncheck that, but you can pull over any fields that you might want as part of it. So the next step would be is to get your CSV. You'll come here, you'll import JSON, you'll import all of the CSV. It has to be a flat CSV file, or if you're doing it, if you happen to have a JSON file, you can use that, which doesn't have to be flat. So then you'd go through import all of these. So you'd have a whole bunch of names populated. This could be 50 names, it could be 1,000 names, it could be even more than that. So the next step is that we need a way to select them. So I've actually already set this up, but I'll show you what it kind of looks like. I've actually done 2 options here. One I did for the client, this client as an option, and another one would be a selection where right now I'm just viewing. If I exit out, I can search. I can even type in here because I did the hybrid layout. So if you've got multiple people here, you can select them and bring them in. For the client, if I did this still as a object and as opposed to a selection, I have the select contacts where you can now look up any contacts, you can search on them and select the name, and it will pull in any information that you want to have, and that will come in. Okay, so how do we set that up? So first step is go to designer, and then we're going to go to client. You may have noticed this before. I've got client as a party. If I scroll down, I have this select from data. Normally it looks like this, and you probably had no idea what it does, but this is what it's going to do. So I'm going to select from, and then I'm going to select from the contact query. So this is basically, this contact query is going to go to all of your contacts in here, and I can say save, and then that button is now going to show up at the bottom where you can pull it in. The second option you have, and I have this in client 1, is I have created a selection variable, so I can just go through and select. I have made it so it's hybrid. Hybrid means that you can type and search on it, so you'd want that. Then I selected a table or query, and then I do my source as contact query. And that's how you set this up. And then once you've got it, you can import these import your contacts, you can update them as needed, and then you can use them as client. In this case, you can do it with spouse, you can do it with children, that you can select from anyone that you've imported. So that's how it works.